In today's video, we're going to be talking about how competitive the Tampa market is and kind of what you can expect if you're thinking about buying a home in the area. Stick around. I'm Sam, and thanks for coming by the Living in Tampa, Florida channel. Every single week, we release videos about what it's like to live, work, play, and move to the Tampa, Florida area. If that's something you're interested in, or if that's something you want to follow along with, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss any videos. I am also a licensed realtor in the state of Florida, so if you have any real estate specific questions or needs, please don't hesitate to reach out. My number and email are right there on the screen. I would love to connect. Thank you to all of you that have recently reached out. Calls, texts, emails have been flooding in, and I love to connect with you and answer any questions you have. It has been a lot of fun. All right, let's get into the Tampa market. Today, I'm set up in a little park in Safety Harbor, which is just on the water in Pinellas County. You see it right here on the map. Hopefully the wind's not too bad. Got a little filter on my mic. Hopefully it can cut down on as much of that wind as possible. It is 4:20 on February 24th. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops. Just in case any of you wonder what the weather's like, there's a little nip in the air, but it's so nice out. When you get closer to the water, you get a little bit more cool breeze, but it is beautiful weather here right now. All right, so the real estate market. Tampa is growing like crazy. It has been growing for a few years though, but some of the things we're seeing right now are different than previous growth. With the coronavirus pandemic, there's a lot of migration from big cities. And I mostly am sharing these opinions from my own perspective, from my own opinion, but also from the clients that I work with and the perspectives that I'm hearing from them. People are leaving big cities. So think like New York, Chicago, the New York Northeast area, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, that kind of corridor. People are leaving that area as they have the opportunity to work from home or as they have the opportunity to explore new job opportunities. People are moving to areas like Tampa, like Nashville, like Charlotte and Raleigh in the Carolinas area. People are moving to Austin and San Antonio. San Antonio is a huge city, but some of these like mid-sized cities that still have a lot of those big city elements, but also have the opportunity to buy a house for a lot cheaper, to potentially have a big yard, and that kind of thing. Florida has also remained pretty open during this entire pandemic. The Florida governor and governing systems really have fought to help businesses stay open. Of course, this has at times worsened the virus in the state, but I'm not going to share too much of my opinion about that. Just know that the government here really does value businesses staying open maybe more than they value other things at times. And I actually think some people are moving here because of that. One thing that's happening as people are trying to move to these mid-sized cities is the people that live there aren't moving out of them as quickly as they were before. So what does that mean? There's just not as many houses for sale. And the way that supply and demand works with the housing market, that causes prices to go up. Then the Fed lowers interest rates. That directly affects mortgage rates. And then when mortgage rates are lower, people can spend more money because they're paying less in interest. So people have more buying power, but there's less houses available. So then those houses that are available just become very, very competitive. There are a lot of situations that I've gone into with buyer clients where the house has been on the market for 6 hours and already has 10 offers. And so they're immediately asking for, please present your highest and best offer by, maybe 4 p.m. on Monday or something like that. And that is a very competitive situation to go into. And I usually warn my buyers away from that kind of a situation because I don't want them to regret overpaying for something that they don't really love. So I often ask them, like, how much is this house actually worth to you? If it's worth that bigger dollar, then let's go in and let's compete and let's get it for you. But if it's worth less than that, then let's put in our best offer and I'll talk to the other agent on the side and see what's going to happen, but let's just keep looking. Okay, so let's talk about the housing market in the Tampa area before the pandemic. A very popular real estate investor forum and website is called Bigger Pockets. They have some podcasts as well. And they identified St. Petersburg, Florida, which is really part of the Tampa area, as the fastest growing rent market in the past 5 years, where rents actually grew 60% over 5 years. And that's really massive growth. The housing prices haven't grown quite that fast, but here's kind of the numbers over the past 5 years. As a real estate professional, we often talk about what a normal market inventory is, and we usually say it's about 6 months of inventory. So what that means is if in the area 2,000 homes sell every month, then 6 months of inventory would be 12,000 homes for sale. Right now, there's about a month and a half of inventory in the Tampa area, and that is just a direct cause of higher prices. When there's so much less supply, demand goes higher, and prices go higher. There are a lot of situations lately where there are a lot of cash offers on homes. Yeah, the Tampa area has pretty affordable homes. For $250 to $350, you can get a very, very nice home in a lot of the Tampa area. And if someone is moving from New Jersey and they had that much equity in their home when they sold it, they might be coming in with cash to buy that house. And a cash offer looks so much more attractive to a seller because there's not an appraisal and it's not involving this loan getting approved to even buy the house. There's no loan approval. And that makes it a lot easier for the seller. And those offers are usually the most attractive offers for the seller. So let's talk about what sections of the market in Tampa are the most competitive. So of course, everything under $250,000 is extremely competitive. And there's a lot of houses in that segment of the market that don't belong. You know, people are hearing all these houses sold for so much, and they're really kind of pushing their prices too high. I actually showed a home to a man named George over the weekend, and it was a 980 square foot home in a pretty small neighborhood with mostly houses that size. So it's, you know, a very kind of low budget neighborhood. They were asking $150,000 for that home. This market average kind of square foot price is usually around $100 per square foot. They were asking $150 per square foot because someone told them they should. I don't know why. If I was their selling agent, I would not have urged them to price it that high, because what's going to happen? Someone's going to put in an offer close to that price, and then when the appraiser comes in, the appraiser is going to say, this house is only worth $125,000 or something like that. Of course, this is kind of a hypothetical situation. I don't want you to take this as facts. I'm just showing you the things that I'm seeing in the current Tampa real estate market. Okay, so back to which segments of the market are the most competitive. Really, anything under $350,000 is very, very competitive in Tampa. And what do I mean by competitive? I mean, there's multiple offers, some probably over asking price, maybe some that are waiving potential contingencies, maybe they're waiving their inspection contingency so they can still get an inspection, but they can't ask for anything related to the inspection, that kind of thing. There's all kinds of ways to make offers more attractive, and we'll get to that later in this video. So maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, this is really discouraging. But I would just urge you, if you're going to shop for a house in the Tampa market or in any hot real estate market, you want to be able to take your time. If you're in too much of a hurry, then you could make a bad purchase. And this is something I tell clients often. We don't want to be the ones that have to have this house, because that posture could leave us making the wrong decision. Another way to get offers accepted is to be creative. Having a lender think about these things with you is always really helpful. And a creative lender really makes the buying process a lot easier, because they might know that, yeah, you qualify for an FHA loan, but maybe sellers aren't as attracted to that kind of an offer right now, where a conventional loan has a lot less of a picky inspection and appraisal, and a seller's going to be a lot more attracted to that kind of thing. I actually have a listing that closes next week, and the seller was not willing to consider any FHA or VA loans. And that's really common in this market. Another thing that is helping me to get offers accepted is relationship. Building a relationship before an offer is even submitted to a selling agent is very important. As an agent, I like to call and ask some simple questions like, what's the most important thing for the seller? Is it the most money? Is it ease of transaction? Is it selling to a family? Is it cash? Whatever it is. And they usually have an answer. And a lot of the times it's money, but more often than you would think, it's ease of transaction. And then building that connection with the other agent about, hey, let's make this the easiest transaction for both sides. What can we do to make it easier for the seller? And just honestly asking those kind of questions can help get an offer accepted a lot of the time. Okay, I've been getting some comments lately that maybe some of my videos are a little negative about the Tampa area. So I want to finish on a high note and tell you some areas where you're going to get the most bang for your buck in the Tampa area. So let's start up with North Tampa. So I'm talking about New Tampa, Lutz, and Wesley Chapel. These are pretty newly developed areas. They're pretty suburban, and you can still get pretty big lots up there. Next on the list, and you guys hear me talk about this town often because it's where I live, is Tarpon Springs. This little Greek town up in the northwest area of the Tampa metro area. This town has a big mix of old and new houses. Some close to the water, some in flood zones, some not, and you have all kinds of mixes. And there is a nice little beach in the area called Fred Howard Park. You see some pictures here. This has a nice long walking and or driving area out to this beach that sticks out into the water pretty far. And it's a really nice area. It's very crowded at sunset time, but it's really enjoyable to watch the sunsets out there as well because you don't have much land around you. The third bang for your buck area is the Brandon and Riverview area. This is East Tampa and even Southeast Tampa. As you go down this way, it gets a little more rural, and you have a lot more of what's considered unincorporated. Sorry, a squirrel just about ran on my lap. You have a lot more unincorporated area. So, like the area of Lithia isn't technically its own town. It's just kind of an unincorporated area. It's kind of confusing. But this whole area down in Southeast Tampa, you have a lot more housing options for that under $300,000. But if you do have to commute to downtown Tampa, it's kind of a far drive. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Again, please reach out to our team here at Living in Tampa, Florida. If you have any questions or concerns, any real estate specific questions or concerns, or you just want to talk about the area and talk about your potential move. Thanks for coming by.